Pisces. Welcome and welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. So we are talking about July. Crazy, right? Oh, I can't believe it. Anyway, I hope that June has been and is treating you well. How are you? I feel like it's been forever. We'll just get into it, really. Let me shuffle. I tell you, out of all of the decks that I own, this deck feels the coolest ever since. I opened the package and I held them in my hands. This is a beautiful deck anyway. It's the Medicine Woman Tarot. I sell them in my Etsy if you're interested. All right. We're looking for the message for Pisces for July 2022. Message for Pisces. Usually when cards start prepping out, I know it's ready to go. We're just gonna make sure that card is shuffled back in. Here we go. Man, I tell you, this month, so far, there has been so many, like, confirmations by dings and sounds like, Aries, some ancestor of theirs was messing with my smoke detector. So, let's see. We have the Ace of Stones or the Ace of Pentacles, Exemplar of Arrows or the King of Swords, Eight of Bowls or the Eight of Cups, Two of Pipes or the Two of Wands, the Tower, and Eight of Stones or the Eight of Pentacles. And then we have the Five of Pipes at the bottom of the deck. Okay. I just wanted to make sure everything was straight. Sorry, I have water, I have coffee, I have all of the liquids around me. So, this to me feels like almost like kind of coming out of survival mode. And, clearly, like, if we're in an energy for an extended period of time, just, because of our situation, the reality that is our lives, right? Like, it's hard to almost kind of switch out of that. I hope that this is all still straight. I have to, like, continually be touching these. Like, my OCD won't let me not. So anyway, of course we're going to go through each one of these cards. That's just kind of like the initial kind of feeling that I was getting from all of these. So we start with the Ace of Stones or the Ace of Pentacles. And this, like the Ace of Pentacles generally talks about new opportunities. Pentacles have to do with our money, how we make it, how we spend it, how we invest it and save it. It also has to do with our time and our energy, right? How do we spend our time? How do we invest our time and energy? It can also have to do with our physical bodies. It's basically like the tangible things, the 3D, the stuff that we can see, the stuff that we can touch and feel. That's what the Pentacles incorporate. But also, it really kind of talks about even like an offering. It could be a gift coming in, but again, like that could even be an opportunity coming in, just kind of seemingly out of nowhere, but it's so perfect for you, that literally it was almost like created just for you. And it absolutely was. I 100% believe that. But, you know, we have this person going up this ladder. You know, we have the faces of kind of the ancestors here. There's clearly a gift of, you know, like this crystal coming out of the ethers. So, you know, I mean, this would signify, and of course, with it being the first card, you know, like it would signify maybe you have been given a new opportunity. You know, maybe you are kind of in a position where you're feeling a bit more secure about your finances. Like maybe you got a new job, maybe you got a side hustle, maybe both, you know. Even if you are still, or if you have been looking for a job, this would signify that that opportunity would be coming in. And then we have the Two of Pipes, or the Two of Wands here. And the Two of Wands talks about really kind of honing in on what direction you want to go in, right? Like the Ace of Wands is that passion, that desire, the spark, right? And then, you know, the Two of Wands, or the Two of Pipes, talks about, well, what am I gonna do with that? How do I want to manifest this thing? How do I want to take action on the thing? We have somebody coming in on a canoe. I mean, it could be information coming in. And that's what I mean, right? Like with the Ace of Pentacles, there could just be this new opportunity coming in. And it may even be outside of what you were originally looking at. But this does talk about beginning to expand your horizons. Like, you know, this new opportunity here, or if you've already been in this new opportunity, like it's already manifested, either way, whether it's coming in or you're already in it, you know, there's this opportunity here. Like it almost just kind of like opens possibilities. And, you know, maybe you're just kind of sitting in this energy of like, okay, how can I best oh, the word is like right on the tip of my tongue. Maximize this opportunity. And like I said, you know, if there has been a feeling of being in survival mode for some time, like, you know, kind of the energy of like robbing Peter to pay Paul type of thing, right? You know, kind of having to shuffle things around to make things work. And now you're in a position where you don't, you know, like Peter and Paul are both paid at the same time. And, you know, like you don't have to shuffle things around. You know, like it takes time to almost like recalibrate your nervous system to that. So that's kind of, you know, like what this is. Like you could just be like, let me just kind of formulate, let me write down a plan, or, you know, almost like not wanting to go too overboard. Like still a little bit in that lack mentality, which is totally okay. Right? I mean, of course, like I said, if it's something that you've been in for a while, it takes time to recalibrate to a new energy. And that just kind of seems like that's what you're doing. We have the Exemplar of Arrows here, which is the King of Swords. And, you know, the King of Swords is, for one, a leader. You know, when we get to the Kings, it talks about, you know, kind of sharing with your kingdom, right? I mean, you're overseeing things. But arrows and swords have to do with our thoughts, our intellect, how we are perceiving our realities. I also see them as being an ego card, since that's generally where we hear our ego, is in our minds. You know, and we have this figure here with this child. So it's, you know, kind of passing on this knowledge. I mean, you could have children. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but this is really just kind of being in this position where you've gained all of this knowledge through the experiences that you had. And it's kind of like, you know, like you're clearly able to communicate those things to other people, your perspective, maybe on kind of being on both sides of the fence. But there's also this, you know, like clarity of thought. There's a level of discipline that goes into the King of Swords. I have the little guidebook here. It says, your stories transform the world. Again, right? Like having that experience, sharing your knowledge. But I mean, you know, the king is the highest expression of the suit also, right? So you have gotten to this point of, I want to say mastery, but like, again, you know, it feels like this place where you can almost just kind of give your mind a rest. Like I said, you know, Peter and Paul, they're both paid, right? Like Peter and Paul are happy. So it's kind of like, you know, you don't have to necessarily think about all of these chess pieces or, you know, all of these things that you have, you know, kind of going on and shuffling around. And then we have the Tower here. And generally, you know, the Tower generally talks about kind of this sudden upheaval, this sudden thing. It's like quick, you know, it's not something that's like extended. Maybe you see it coming, maybe you don't. But it's just like, it's going to wipe out the thing that is no longer serving you. But in this deck, the Tower talks about this shield being pierced. It's literally called the pierced shield. We have this lightning bolt coming in, right, kind of breaking through that shield. I have the bigger guidebook here also. Let me just pull up here. The affirmation says, as old structures dissolve, my good evolves. I am filled with new inspiration. False concepts are destroyed as I release that which limits my joy and well-being. Your shield is the thought structure you have created through living. It is built of words, attitudes, and concepts that, as you instituted and accepted them, serve to protect your tender inner being. But there comes a time when old patterns, for your own good, must be broken. I come to destroy that which is no longer useful to you, to down the Tower of Babel, to dismantle false hopes and erroneous assumptions. Exactly. Like these two together are literally, it's almost like, you know, kind of saying the same thing. Like, you know, you've kind of gotten to this point now, or you will, right? It's almost kind of like, you know, through this, you're moving towards being in this energy, which is creating this Tower moment, because you no longer have to be kind of in that scarcity mindset. And like I said, you know, like it may be something that you're kind of slowly moving out of, which is totally fine. But it is happening, right? Like I said, you know, the Tower is taken out those things, that the processes that you no longer need, right? Because this opportunity that came in, is covering all of the bases or the opportunity that has already come in. Again, like I said, you know, this might be something coming in July. This might be something that you've already been established in. And then we have the Eight of Bowls or the Eight of Cups here. And generally the Eight of Cups talks about walking away from something on an emotional level, because cups have to do with our emotions. But what you're walking away from is, you know, like you're walking towards wish fulfillment, because the Nine of Cups is exactly that. It's wish fulfillment. Feeling fulfilled and content and happy and all of the positive feelings, right? But also, you know, we have this couple in here. So this could be if you are in a relationship or if you are in a couple, it could be, you know, community, it could be your business, it could be platonic, right? But it's like, you know, if there are other people involved, like you're both able to move forward and move away from the worry and I'm trying to think of a different word for lack, because I feel like I've said that a million times already and it's just not coming to me. So we'll leave it at worry. And there's also, you know, kind of this level of gratitude, just, you know, like in the body language here, and there's this face up here, like there is kind of this level of gratitude. So, of course, I mean, that's never a bad place to be in, is in gratitude. So, and then the Eight of Stones or the Eight of Pentacles talks about, you know, really focusing your energy into a craft and building on that. So maybe even too, like you're able to, like, because things are kind of okay, and because you don't have to have this worry and, you know, this kind of old way of being, this old pattern of behavior is falling off, it frees up energy even for you to maybe try things that maybe you had an interest in doing, but either just didn't have the time for, couldn't afford, whatever the case may be. It could be a side hustle, if you wanted to even give that a shot, right? Like it's almost like freeing up this energy that has been blocked, or at least just maybe focused on, like I said, survival. So, you know, that energy is freed up now to where you can open your focus, expand, like even what I was saying over here, expanding horizons, getting ready to, and trying something new. Maybe, you know, like actually being able to have a hobby, right? And you're like, I never thought I would actually be able to have a hobby. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be something separate from what this Ace of Stones is. It can literally be, you know, like focusing on building your career and, you know, having that, like really getting grounded and rooted in the company that you're in. And we have the Five of Pipes at the bottom of the deck, which is the Five of Wands. And that generally talks about conflict, I see it as being like training. I always think about Mulan. And if you've seen Mulan, oh my gosh, if you haven't seen Mulan, what are you doing? But but you know, like when they're in like warrior training, that's the Five of Wands. Like, again, you know, kind of focusing your energy on learning something. It's training. It's, you know, and that's not always easy, but it's necessary, because what comes after the Five of Wands is the Six of Wands. So there's, right after the Five of Pipes and the Five of Wands is success and victory and being recognized, like you won the battle that you were training for. All that training paid off, right? So this whole situation is just going to take time. Like I said, it's retraining your nervous system, and even retraining the way that you view and match with money and abundance, right? Like, I mean, it's just going to take time to get recalibrated. And then we have the star underneath that, or the grandfathers, and this talks about, well, you know, the star talks about hope and faith. I see the star card as being that space between the 5D, like where we send our prayers and where we hang out in meditation. So, you know, like the star is between that and the 3D, which is where we are, right? So it's kind of like that space between that's holding those two things together and, like, you know, trying to pull those things down. And in this deck, it talks with the grandfathers, it talks about sharing your experience. And, you know, these three here are ghosts. So, I mean, there could be, this card has shown up in every reading that I've done so far. But this could be, you know, just having one of your ancestors that's crossed over, like, you know, just, they could be really kind of helping you out here. But it's almost kind of like after the Five of Pipes, it's, things are really starting to come together is how this feels. And we have the 10 of Bowls behind that, or the 10 of Cups, which, I mean, it's like the equivalent to the Sun card in the Minor Arcana. It's, yeah, I mean, just look at all these figures here. It does have to do with family, you know, or community, but it's, you know, everybody's needs are being met. Everybody feels good. Everybody has exactly what they need to feel fulfilled and content, right? So it's kind of, you know, like, there's not necessarily anything that it's not like you're like fighting against it or anything, or like fighting for it, but it is just, like I said, that energy where it's going to take some time to kind of switch that nervous system. I mean, you could even look up vagus nerve meditations, or nervous system reset meditations if you want to accelerate, you know, help on that. Those are definitely available out there. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for being here, Pisces. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.